Mr. Joe Wilson of South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here today. I had the extraordinary opportunity to lead a delegation for the opening of the embassy in Jerusalem. It was just what a fabulous, positive celebration this was. And I was really grateful for the leadership of President Trump, for your leadership, Ambassador John Bolton, and of course the extraordinary ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Nikki Haley. And working with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I believe this will help promote the peace process in the Middle East. So thank you for your success. Additionally, the question would be, the results of the most recent elections in Lebanon change. What's the status of U.S. policy? Do we need to make changes on how to provide our economic and security assistance to be more effective to counter Hezbollah and Iranian influence? And what do you see as the most effective tool pursuant to UN Security Council sanctions that the United States can promote to enforce the disarmament of Hezbollah, which today has 150,000 missiles directed at Israeli families?
So I think there are three questions there. I'll start with the last one with respect to Lebanese Hezbollah. So we not only now have them as a problem in Lebanon, we have them as a problem in Syria as well. Iranian-funded, Iranian fuel, part of our Iran strategy is aimed clearly at reducing their capacity to create havoc and conduct terror operations around the world. Second, you asked about the election. Certainly changes, but ultimately it's our assessment at this point that the overall balance of power won't be materially changed as an outcome of that. That's good and bad. The existing balance of power is not a good one in its own right, and so there are real challenges about how America can introduce its influence and get Lebanon to move in a direction of that great nation. To date, we've largely relied on two places, including the Lebanese Armed Forces, to help us achieve the security element of our efforts there, and we need to review each of those to make sure that we're using American taxpayers' dollars right and supporting the groups that can most likely achieve our outcome there.
I'm also grateful that the administration is providing additional funds for the European Deterrence Initiative to provide for military NATO troops in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, American troops in Poland. To me, this is so important, but the challenge that you have is that only 15 of the 29 NATO allies have said that they would reach the 2% minimum by 2024. What can we do to encourage our allies to better defend themselves to promote peace through strength?
President Trump should be credited with making real progress there. That is, there are more countries today meeting their 2% commitment. There's a corollary commitment of 20% for equipment as well. More countries achieving that as well. I was with John Stoltenberg this past week. He's committed to putting pressure on each of them to do so. There's a summit in July that the President will attend, a NATO summit in July that the President will attend, and I hope that two things will take place. One, that every country will show up with a plan at least to get to 2%. Some of the countries, including Germany, have the financial wherewithal to do so and have simply chosen not to. And second, I hope that the countries that have plans will move their date closer, that they will get to their 2% target in a more timely fashion.
And I'm really grateful, a rare example, but it's true that we work together with Jerry Connolly and Steve Chabot. And that is that we're concerned about Russian aggression, beginning in Moldova. Then it was the Republic of Georgia, and then 10,000 people were killed in Ukraine. What more can we do to work with our allies to provide proper equipment, particularly to the three nations I mentioned, to stop the aggression by the Putin regime?
So, Congressman Wilson, I don't know the details of the armaments issues with respect to those three countries. I'm happy to take a look at it. I was with the Georgian Prime Minister. We had the 7th U.S.-Georgian dialogue hosted the State Department this week. We can keep these issues at the forefront. We can make clear with respect to at least Georgia that we are working to get their accession to NATO. These are the kinds of things that can support the people of those countries in the right way. We also, in that same neck of the woods, made the decision last year to provide defensive weapon systems to the Ukrainians, weapon systems that they have now used. And there is much work that remains. I concur, this is not partisan, much work that remains to promote those former Soviet entities who are on a path towards joining the Western world.
And I've seen the success in
we-
Bulgaria and Romania, now Georgia. Thank you.
We go now